Drop that shit on the headlight.
Welcome to FINS TV. I'm your host, FINS Sammy, aka FINS Post on X. And as always, my co-host, Steve Hallett. Steve, welcome to the show.
Sammy, how you doing today, buddy?
We're doing good. It was a very interesting bye week. A lot of teams that were in front or behind the Dolphins lost, so the Dolphins did some movement this week.
It was an absolutely incredible bye week. It was almost so great, I nearly busted out my Victory Monday t-shirt yesterday, just because it seriously felt like a victory for the first time in my lifetime. It feels like that a bye week, first of all, with us coming in that strong, and for us to emerge, not even touching the field, to come out on top that much better. I couldn't have scripted it any other way. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. The Ravens were favored. They lost. The Bills had the game of the week, if you ask me, how the Broncos, after getting a 70 burger from the Dolphins, they found a way to beat the Bills. It was just beautiful.
It's pretty interesting, all these teams that are so easy to beat that the Dolphins just, did all the business on. And they struggle against them. They lose to them. It's just, the media narratives, the media is going to media all the time and everything, but they can't help themselves. They won't ever call the teams to task when they lose to those teams that we just absolutely curb stomp. So I'm going to savor it. Today's going to be it's all about the positivity. I'm going to label this No Buts Tuesday, because it's just going to be all ands. It's going to be the positives of the Miami Dolphins and everything we've got to look forward to in the second half of our season and all the stuff we got to look forward to.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
No buts about it Tuesday.
Okay, on this episode, we're going to talk episode 13, Under Pressure. We're going to see who's probably under pressure for the second half of the season of the Dolphins. Also, we're going to play some What's the Word with the return of the Von A-Chain. And also, we're going to see the Raiders for the first time in a couple of years. The Raiders are 2-0 under their new head coach, so they're surging right now. So it's not going to be an easy out, probably.
It's definitely not going to be easy. I think I actually kind of wish they would have kept Josh McDaniels around for a couple more weeks, let us see that train wreck of a team, and then let them fire him after we beat the heck out of them. But we've got a lot of good things to look forward to here coming up against the Raiders, and we're at home. I don't want to take anything for granted. We're at home. We play well at home. Hopefully we can come out refreshed from the bye and just humble the Raiders a little bit, kind of bring them back down to earth.
Well, before we look forward to the second half of the season, we have to look back. So we're going to take a look at the 23 Miami Dolphins highlights of the first half of the season.
Hunt the block, Tua on the move, going deep, speed race, he's got Hill, he beat James, what a play! Ojukoma is in the backfield, and they go to the end zone, and caught, Hill, touchdown! The Dolphins have recaptured the lead! They come! Phillips has got him!
And a timeout. Clock starts. Tua looks, throws. Touchdown, Tyreek Hill!
Upstairs, could you see it?
He sees those double teams all the time with the great gunners in the history of the league. Booster takes off and goes the distance for the touchdown. Here comes Chubb. Jones throws. It's caught. Gesicki flips it back. It's brought in by Strange, the offensive lineman, pushing to the 29. Does he get it? What's the spot?
The runner was down short of the line of gain at the 29.5-yard line. Therefore, we have a turnover down.
For Denver, 1st and 10, the fake, Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic Hill. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown. What a block by Isaiah Wynn to buy 2 a time, and they're dancing early in South Florida. Berrios on the move, pitch out A-Chain, blocked by Berrios, blocked by Armstead. Look at him dive! Look at him score! With a second down and goal. Oh, look at that! Shovel pass, A-Chain breaks a tackle. Mostert is in. 1st and 10. Here's the call. The big gain. He broke a tackle of Sanders. He gets by the defensive back Mathis and takes it in for 6. A-Chain spinning. Mostert blocked in there. Touchdown. Touchdown run. And they'll dance their way to a 34-10 lead. Regular season. 2nd down and 2. A-Chain, big hole. Turns it on, accelerating. You can kiss him goodbye.
This play, and they end up running it. It's A-Chan taking it home for another touchdown.
Get people crossing.
Going to be a keep. It's going to be all the way to the end zone for Josh Allen.
From the 24, on 1st down, a big hole for A-Chan, still going, down the sideline, Devon A-Chan will take it all the way.
1st and 10, Miami's ball, Mostert getting the block from Hill, he explodes and spins and drives, there he goes. In gold, here they come, there he goes, Tua, caught, touchdown, land the block, go, he's got him, he's got Hill, and they've got a touchdown. Oh, he smoked him. Woo! 7. Mostert. He outraces Bridget Hill, he hurdles. Today, Mostert, touchdown.
25 kids back on the field in some trouble here. He'll go down as Jalen Phillips comes up with the sack. Get back to that play momentarily. First Burks taking it further at the foot. Intercepted into the hands of Jerome Baker for a touchdown.
That have had to grind and prove themselves.
Some more misdirection. Tua slinging it to the end zone. It's caught. Tyreek Hill. Dolphins are going to roll the dice. Here they come. Tua's going to run for it. First down Miami. Percentage in the NFL. Trying to punch it in here. 2nd down pass. Tua. Cedric Wilson. They're trying to tie this game. Pump fake. Jones thrown near center of the field. That pass intercepted. Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey's got a lead blocker. Ramsey out of bounds. As they play from the 31-yard line. Tua fakes over the middle, wide open. Waddle's going to waltz in.
Tua out to Hill, and that goes nowhere. Ball's loose. It is loose and picked up and lateral. Brian Cook. Touchdown. Tua for the end zone, and Wilson. A touchdown. It's a flip. Mostert with the crease. Touchdown. Tua fumbles it, and that's the way the game ends.
It was certainly a very interesting and exciting first half of the season. Probably not the last play of the first half of the season, but nonetheless, the final countdown begins. It's the last 8 games of the season for the Dolphins. The Dolphins surged. A lot of skeptics had them finishing last. Even from Sport Illustrated had the Dolphins finishing last to the Patriots on the standings. But the Dolphins are getting back Devon A-Chan this week. A lot of highlights on the first half of the season from A-Chan.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to activate him, and then I just remind myself it's only Tuesday. They haven't even really had their first official practice yet.
Mm-hmm.
They did activate Craycraft today. Was excited to see that.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yep, they activated Craycraft, so I know that's going to add back a good piece. I think they got rid of they had to get rid of Kelvin Joseph to make the room for him. So curious what they're going to do when A-Chan comes off the IR. Hopefully it's this week. We'll get into it later in the Raiders review, but the highlights, couple lowlights, I really didn't care for you throwing in there, Sammy. I'm not going to lie. I really don't care to see Josh Allen prancing into the end zone, mocking our emoji T-shirts that we wore on the way to Buffalo.
If you don't remember the past, you're bound to repeat it. So hopefully they learn
Well,
their lesson and no teacher emojis and all
good
that
point.
crap.
Good point, Dad. I appreciate it.
Let's get a business trip and win every single game with it.
I appreciate the parenting moment there, Sammy. I'll remember the past. Trust
I'm
me,
the
I
other
remember
guy
enough
here, so-
nightmares of my past. But no, the Armando in the interview, by the way, very, very good interview. I watched it.
Thanks to Amanda,
Haven't had a chance to reach out to you on our WhatsApp chat and everything, but it was very, very good interview. You did extremely well, Armando. You know, it was good to hear him talk, give his different perspectives and stuff. But one of the first things that he opened up with was how different this team is. And if you think about the drama that we have faced just in the past decade alone,
Mhm.
how much different this team is. And I'm going to knock on wood right now, but we have to, think about how great it is that the drama we face is because of the greatness that we're putting out onto the field, the product that we're putting out onto the field. So that's something we definitely have, a week ahead of Thanksgiving. It's something we have to be thankful for. And we just have to hope that it continues on as we progress through the second half of the season. We've got a lot to look forward to. And we're sitting in such a prime position right now, Sammy. I can't say it enough how incredible it is to be 2 games up, half the game through or half the way through the season, knowing that really the team stays healthy enough, we should be able to lock down our first division title since 2008.
Absolutely. Right now, it's now an expectation. When you see the stat, they're giving the Dolphins a huge chance to win the division. The odds for the Super Bowl remain kind of the same. That we're not gonna get ahead of that. But with the Jets losing and the Bills losing this week, sorely cemented their position. So a lot of good things happen for the Dolphins. We're getting healthier. That's a positive. The losses, again, like you said, the losses that we suffer is not being catastrophic to the point that they're not coming back. That we're getting back a lot of good players. Hopefully, the offensive line is key in getting healthy. You see a lot of running plays. After the losses in the run game on the offensive line, the running game has not been the same. So, if we can get the offensive line healthy, we're gonna have a chance to be on our way to a division championship.
Definitely.
That's the case.
I think at the first couple games here are going to be a good test. I know the Raiders are great on the pass defense. That Black Friday game, and we'll talk about this next week, that Black Friday game, that defense is really, really going to challenge us. I watched the Sunday night game. These stupid, ridiculous primetime games they packed the Jets into just kills me.
Yeah.
But you watch that lateral speed that defense has, and I think it's really going to challenge Coach McDaniel and how he's going to scheme up an offense that's going to get them off balance and get them to second guessing where we're going to go with the ball. So some challenges ahead, but some fantastic opportunities for the team. We really, truly, Sammy, right now control our fate, and it's a great fate.
Absolutely. They say the definition of craziness is to continue doing the same thing over and over, the wrong thing over and over. So, we've been challenged. I expect Mike McDaniel to do some adjustments. We're going to talk later about a little bit more about that. So we're going to welcome the FINS TV crew, our esteemed panelists, Eddie Chaput and Matt Armstrong. Good evening, guys.
Gentlemen.
Good evening.
Happy Tuesday.
I'm going to start with you, Matt, looking a little bit back to the first half of the season before we look forward. You saw the highlights. So the first half of the season and a little bit looking forward to the second half.
One thing that really stood out to me with the little video montage you showed, number one, I agree with Steve. I don't need to see that knucklehead in Buffalo prancing around. But I appreciate your efforts to put together that montage. It was great to see at least 6 parts of it. And one thing that jumped out at me, you and I talked last week about forward motions was interrupted on Tyreek in the Kansas City game, and that really jumped out at me in this replay a few moments ago, which of course got me boiled a little bit. But I want to point out one thing to you guys, and I encourage you to take a look at it or to be on the lookout for it when you watch the previous videos and watch going forward. This team is having fun. There's a And it always gets under my skin because it was against the Patriots, and Tua had, I think he had Ingold out in the flat, wide open, and he went back towards the middle of the field. I can't remember who he went to. It might have been Wilson, but he got the touchdown, and that's great. That was the goal. But Waddle is jumping out of his skin. Waddle is clearly thrilled, which means Waddle was in the vicinity. But this team appears to be having fun. It is a game. They're playing for money, but they appear to be having fun. They appear to be enjoying it. Watching the conga line against Denver, that's really exciting to me because Steve alluded to a moment ago, previous decade, by this time of the year, we're struggling. We've talked about being in the hunt, which has never been a positive thing. I'm excited about what we've done so far, what the Dolphins have done so far. And I'm really excited about the second half of the season. With one caveat, it's great to look at it and say, first division title, we still got to do this one at a time. So, one at a time, Raiders, you're up.
Absolutely. Eddie, how about your thoughts about that? It's been an interesting season, a lot of great moments, of very frustrating moments. I know you're very passionate when the things don't go the way we expect them. So I want to know your thoughts about the first half of the season.
Well, I missed you guys. I missed you guys this weekend. I didn't text anybody and complain. It kind of sucked, but now if you would have told me we'd be 6-3 and game and a half, well, 2 games up really. At this point of the season, I'd be jumping for joy, and I am actually. It's been proven that this team likes each other, just like Matt said. They play for each other. They want to win. They're going to win. It's the best feeling I've had about a team in a long time.
Absolutely. Steve, I know it's been frustrating at times. These teams look so great so many times, 70 burger. But, like you said, when you see those down moments, it's been really frustrating. This team seems to be capable of so much more sometimes.
Yeah, Matt hit the nail on the head. The team is playing for each other, and when you see that type of environment where they're selfless and they're just happy to see somebody get into the end zone. Christian Wilkins, the guy, was jumping over people's shoulders on his rookie year, so he's always been that excited for other people on the offense to score. But everybody, it doesn't matter who it is, they're doing the conga line, they're doing the celebrations. Let's be real. Winning cures a lot of problems, and it's great that we've won 6 times this year. Matt, you're not going to squash me on no buts about it Tuesday. I'm not going to be down and say, hey, I can't keep my eyes on the division title. Yes, it is one game at a time, and we have some big challenges ahead of us. Every game, frankly, could be a challenge. You never know what the Raiders are going to roll out. We have a lot of good things to look forward to here. It's great to see them putting together on the field what we really saw in the offseason of what the potential was for this team.
Absolutely. Matt, any last thoughts on the first half of the season and looking forward a little bit to the second half?
Yeah, one last thing. Steve had talked about Victory Monday, breaking out his Victory shirt. We didn't have a game on Sunday or this past weekend, so there really wasn't an opportunity for us to have a Victory Monday. But there was an opportunity for me to have a Victory Monday because I
You're
did.
just evil.
I did have a good weekend this past weekend, and that means that Monday was Victory Monday for me, and I just wanted to share that.
Who'd you beat? Who did the Tar Heels beat, Matt?
That was the Duke University Blue Devils.
Okay, all right, okay. Cool.
One of Steve's favorite teams, I've been told. So.
Only just because of Matt. Only to push his buttons.
It does. Listen, I've been waiting to do this all week up until this moment right here. So, go Heels, go Heels.
Absolutely, you're definitely having fun. Any last thoughts on the looking back to the first half of the season and looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, that'll be more points than the Tar Heels put up in the basketball game against Duke this year.
Wow. All right, shots fired. Shots fired here. Okay.
Hey, I got to keep you in check, Mr. Happiness.
You got it, man. You got it.
Well,
No,
speaking,
it's been great. I've had so much fun. This is with just watching the team, having fun each week, getting mad at the team, but at least we have something real to get mad at instead of being 1-8 and getting mad that they're that.
Yeah.
It's so much more exciting when your team is good and you get frustrated when they're playing a bad game and they still win. It's pretty awesome. And this part is even better, is getting to join the show each week and talk about it. I love it. It's made this season even better.
yeah, absolutely. It's been an interesting season. Like I said before, we haven't won anything yet, but we should enjoy it a little bit more. We get caught up so much on the moment and the ups and downs of the week and the game. We can say even mediocre for the last part of 25, 30 years. So we need to enjoy this part. But next, we're going to talk a little bit more about how the Dolphins are under pressure. Might be under pressure during the second half of the season.
Goodness. But that's about it. Anybody else ain't got a shot. Everybody ain't got that kind of defense.
You just told me you love Joe Burrow.
I do. I got love for him. I got love for him. He gonna do what he gonna do. But are you going to stop Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and the crew? I don't know if we can definitively say there's any defense in the National Football League you can pencil or pen it in. They gonna stop Miami. No. I don't know if I can say that.
But it's about them themselves, because the mistakes, though, you can't keep spotting teams come playoff time 14 points, 17 points, and expect to chase them down. Because there's not going to be any Carolina Panthers in the playoffs. They're not going to be probably not any Denver Broncos in the playoffs. Those teams are really, really good, and their quarterback play is really, really good.
Well, we've seen Chargers in the playoffs losing 27-0 leads. We've seen that.
Excuse me, Shannon. So you would have them third, right? You would go Chiefs, Ravens.
I go Ravens.
Ravens, Chiefs.
Ravens, Chiefs. I would
Miami?
go Ravens, Chiefs, Cincinnati right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dolphins.
And then Miami.
Biggest games of the regular season.
Definitely.
And we'll learn a lot about the Dolphins then as they go against an elite team, because their schedule isn't rife with elite teams.
Right.
However, Week 17, December 31,
right,
Dolphins at Ravens.
Yeah,
we'll learn a little something more about the Dolphins 100%. And their ability to take that show on the road,
right,
in wintertime.
Yep.
And this, for them, it'll be great. It's perfect. It's a little preview, good, bad, or otherwise, of what's coming when they get to the postseason. Yeah. You know, home field advantage this year really hasn't mattered.
Yeah.
But you get to the postseason, Miami versus Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Cleveland even possibly, based on the way the Browns are putting it together. You don't want to go north of Florida. At most, Jacksonville.
We'll find a way to win these games.
Yeah, I don't consider him one of the big boys. I consider him fun to watch. I consider him dynamic when they are at home and they're throwing the ball all over the lot. But when I look at the three teams that they lost to, Skip, what did those three teams do? They disrupted the timing in the passing game of Tua. And I've been saying this since Tua became a full-time starter.
I think the Jets are better than the Dolphins right now.
No.
I actually, I'm actually going to say that.
Well, who would win head-to-head, the Jets or the Dolphins?
I think the Jets play
on Black Friday.
No, I think the Jets play a style of football the Dolphins cannot play it.
I think if they played the Black Friday game today, the Dolphins would still be favored.
Yes. Of course they'd be favored, but I would bet the Jets. I mean, I would bet the Jets. I think the Jets are better. They play defense. You got to play defense at some point. The Jets would maybe fuck up the Dolphins.
The Germany game, which the Dolphins dropped the first half 21-0 and ended up losing 21-14. They're 0-3 against teams with a winning record this season, 0-6 going back to last year. In that first half, they got shut out for the first time in the Mike McDaniels era and didn't convert a single third down. I would ask you this coming out of this game. Do you think that they're a fraudulent contender?
Bill? Didn't they beat the Bills last year? Am I crazy?
Oh no, they're 2-7 against playoff teams all the way through last year. They're 0-6 in their last 6 against teams with winning records.
Oh, so they've lost 6 in a row, but they were 2-1 before that.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got to cut it off at the right point, Bill. The most exciting point to cut it off would be
0-6 in their last 6. 0-6 going back to a certain point last year, not all of last year.
To a totally arbitrary point.
Yes,
gotcha. Yeah, then they control the narratives. Yeah, in case you're new to the show, this is FINS TV. We like to go around the dial. What they're talking about the Dolphins. The media is a huge part of the narrative. Perception is reality in most cases, but not necessarily the truth. As you saw in the last part of the video, when you control the stats, you control the narrative. So the Dolphins certainly going to be under pressure from the media because Miami overall doesn't have a lot of love nationwide. The media in New York, in Chicago, and those that come from broadcasting schools that not necessarily friendly to the Dolphins and to Miami. So that usually happens. But inside the Dolphins, let's keep those ass clowns out of it. Shout out to Kyle Brandt, the biggest ass clown of all last night, becoming the new ass clown champion. With his take last night, it was just beautiful to see him, crumbling before our eyes. He called out Dolphins fans a couple of weeks ago. Now, karma's a bitch. But I digress. The Dolphins have their own pressure. I would like. We talk about how much fun they're having. I like the fact that they're having fun. That it helps a lot with the bonding. Their team, they unite front. They defend their coach, and they defend each other. But sometimes I see a team that I would like to have more of an edge, to take away the soft label. When they face teams who've been more physical than them, and the wheels come off, and they lose the game. They've been trailing a lot of teams during the 0-7, 0-14 during the first quarter. I would like to see a more consistent team, a team stronger mentally, with more of an edge, a killer instinct, having fun, and have united front is great. But I would like to see a more united team in that regard. So I go to you, Steve, first. Who do you believe is under pressure the most during the second half of the season for the Dolphins to have a successful season? Steve.
I'm here. I'm listening. I'm ready. I'm just thinking about it. So I would really like to say that the most under pressure is Coach McDaniel, but I've really just got to say it's about Coach McDaniel T-shirt. I love it. It really has to be.
That's Freddie.
I know it's Freddie. He loves Coach McDaniel. Most under pressure, it's got to be Tua. And the reason it's about Tua is he just has to find a way to prove all the doubters wrong. Let's be real. You get outside of Miami, very few people consistently, other than Emmanuel Acho. We love you, Acho.
Happy birthday.
But very few people out there in the national media circles or regional media circles respect Tua for his capability and what he can do. Mm-hmm. Is he a finesse quarterback? Yes, he is. Mm-hmm. But every day I'm in the car, every day I'm listening to, doesn't matter what channel it is, ESPN, Fox, flip onto Florio with the NBC PFT network, and they're always saying the same type of stuff. They talk about their top 10 quarterbacks. They talk about their top 10 teams. It's never, never, never about Miami. Miami can kind of trickle into the conversation a little bit when they're hot. And then what I tell my kids all the time, the truth hurts, Lizzo. If you want to play with the big boys, if you want to be considered the big people, you've got to go out there and you've got to consistently beat not even consistently, every now and then you've got to beat those tougher teams. And we're going to get those opportunities. We're going to get those opportunities to prove those people wrong. But Tua, the pressure is on him. He's already proven halfway through the year that he is that league-leading quarterback where it matters in terms of all the stats. It's up to him to go out there and consistently do it against some very, very tough talent and some tough games. They mentioned it there, going up to Baltimore. We've got Dallas coming to Miami, which it's a home game, but let's be real. The Dallas Cowboy fans, first time in probably 7 years that they've played here at Hard Rock. So the Dallas fans are going to be out here in numbers. And Buffalo always travels well to Miami. So I think that Tua is going to have an opportunity to prove him wrong, but he is definitely the most under pressure in my eyes.
How about you, Matt? Who do you consider to be the most under pressure for the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think that the pressure on Tua is never ending. I think that's been on him since the day he stepped foot on the field for the first time. I truly believe that the pressure, the real pressure, is something that you talked about for a moment, Sammy, a few moments ago. I think the pressure is on the defense, and the reason I say that is because everybody, all of us, the four of us, as well as every legitimate Dolphin fan out there, and the media as well. The second Jalen Ramsey was brought over to Miami, all of a sudden there's visions of, oh my gosh, look at this defense. Well, now that defense is it's almost whole. I think this coming weekend, everybody will be in place, right? Well, Jalen Phillips, he's been playing. The front line is all in one piece. The defensive backfield's in one piece. The linebackers are in one piece. So they will have an opportunity to expand upon their game against the Patriots, where Jalen had that interception. But that heat's only going to ratchet up, because what's also coming down the road is those big boys, the Ravens, the Bills. There's some teams out there that can do some damage, and I think that the true pressure is on the defense. And you said something that really triggered me, Sammy. I want them to put their foot on the throat and just stand there. It's great that we can have faith like we did in the Marino years that we'll come back. That's great. And it's been fun this year. But let's just choke someone out. Let's just finish them off, and then give the ball to Mostert and Ashan for the rest of the fourth quarter and close it out and move on to the next week. The pressure, I think, is on the defense, and I'll yield back to you.
How about you, Eddie? Who do you consider to be the most under pressure for the second half of the season?
The training staff to keep people healthy. I see.
That's Bart.
I see my buddy Jalen Phillips has hurt his ankle again.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
He would have missed practice today, they said.
Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips.
I call him Cassie. That's almost, because he almost gets the second. He almost healthy every single game. Cassie.
Positivity, guys.
Go ahead,
Eddie.
They
I'm
said
kidding.
he's probably going to play, but Oh well. Anyway, I would say it's on McDaniel in the running game, because we're going to get to some. I think we play Baltimore. Is that in December? Could be cold there.
New Year's Eve.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be cold there. Playoffs, you need to run the ball. Hopefully, Ashan comes back this week. If not this week, next week, because that's going to be a tough game against that defense. That Jet defense is something else. But I'd say it's on McDaniel and the running game to get. They got to come up with some new schemes, I think, because Hunt probably is not going to play again this week. They got to get that to where that offensive line doesn't have to sit back there too long, because we don't want anything bad to happen to him, of course. But so I'd say it's up to McDaniel to come up with some new schemes here in the second half of the season.
McDaniel will be the clear choice. He's the one who's last season he found a way to not lose the team. They're starting that losing streak every single year. The last couple of years, they often crumble and they start losing games. So this year is not going to happen. I'm pretty confident it's not going to happen, and that's that falls on the coach. The pressure could be on one or two things, in my opinion. One, the defense, like Matt said. I think the defense has the chance to be the tone setter for this team. I cannot expect the Dolphins offense to be that killer instinct team that's stumbled. But the defense, Chubb is playing outstanding. Now with Ramsey back. Long is finally catching up to the defense. And Big Fangio seems to be, some people want to find you out after the third game, and you can see it takes sometimes a lot of time. The second guessing the decision to find you, it was too old. Wait, Steve. But it should be the defense. It could be the other one is the offensive line. If Tua doesn't have time to step in the pocket, to stay clean, to not take the big hits, and defensive line crumbles, this team is gonna run nowhere. So it's a huge, and they're not healthy at all right now. So and the running game, you saw the highlights. The running game was key during the first half of the season, and the offensive line has a lot to do with that. Any last thoughts, Steve?
I think everybody hit some really great points. Going to Matt's point about the defense, and I was going to talk about the soft label because frankly Miami has some soft labels out there. They and I mentioned it probably after the Philly game, I think, that we're a finesse team, and those finesse little flashy guys get in there and they can beat the heck out of some people, but every now and then a heavyweight comes in and socks them really hard and it knocks them silly. And I really think that's what happened to us in Buffalo and Philly. We actually stood back up after that first half in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
We said they drew their line in the sand. So that fast, flashy, more fleet of foot offense is starting to get a defense behind it that's got an attitude. And I really like what you said there, Matt. I think it would be incredible to see that killer instinct and not go into the prevent defense, when you have a soft lead or even a big lead, just go in there and absolutely destroy them, because nobody out there is going to respect us if we end up winning by just a touchdown or winning even by 2 touchdowns. Go out there, put your foot on their throats, and I want to see Wilkins sit there and do the gladiator scream. Are you not entertained as his foot's on somebody's throat? Theoretically. I don't want to see him get 15 yards and a $20,000 penalty. The point stands, though. It'd be really great to see that. And I think the defense, I don't think the pressure's on them because they're really gelling and they've got a heck of a system coming. But valid points nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and these aren't unknown quantities here. Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Bradley Chubb, Javon Holland. I saw something today that essentially said that he is the number 1 safety in the league, and it's really hard to argue that position. Jerome Baker's been in the league for several years now. Long, he's balling out. That defensive line, Christian Wilkins, he's earning his money. He's definitely earning his money. My point is these aren't unknown quantities. These are cats that would you want to be throwing against Howard and Ramsey? I wouldn't. With Holland and Elliott patrolling in the back there, they shut down Travis Kelce 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. They shut him down. They made him non-existent. So they're gelling. Steve, you just said it. They are gelling. They are coming together at the right time. And right time is because on the other side of the Raiders and Black Friday, I don't even want to say that team's name. On the other side of that are some real big boy challenges. I'm really excited about it.
How about you? Any last thoughts on basically we're all the defense.
We're all over the board.
All over the board over here, but it's like I think it was Steve at the first side. It's a whole team commitment. So how about your thoughts, Eddie?
I'd like to see him come out this week and not fall behind right away, and then just right.
Easy to change.
And then
that'll be nice. That'll be nice.
And then just kill the Raiders, just blow them out of the water. That's what I'd like to see. Other than that, there is pressure on the defense, but I would like I'd like the defense to get the ball and have our offense not go as far, to give them better field position on the opponent's side of the field.
Absolutely.
That's it.
So next we're gonna go to FINS TV. What's the word? I'm gonna start with Steve. In the second half of the season, the Dolphins defense will blank. Steve.
Second half of the season, the Dolphins defense will emerge as a top 5 defense in the league. And it will be a benefit, or it will be because they're going to increase their turnover percentages. They are going to increase and improve our turnover differential. And every team can bring something out every week. I really think that the defense is primed to eat on some really, really soft offenses that we have coming up against us here. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity. Top 5.
How about you, Matt? The Dolphins defense will blank.
Keep it clean.
Well, I got nothing to say then. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I said quite a bit earlier, and I know in weeks past I've shared the adage: show me a strong defensive front line, and I'll show you an all-pro defensive backfield. Those cats are going to eat. The Dolphins defense is going to eat. That's my word.
Like it. How about you, Eddie? The Dolphins defense will blank on the second half of the season.
Lead in turnovers.
That's interesting.
That's my prediction. I think they're going to start getting more pressure, and I think they're going to just start picking the ball off left and right. That's my prediction.
Actually, when you think about it, if you have one of the top rated safeties and they're hitting the quarterback, and you get Ramsey back, you're right. They should get a lot more turnovers. That should happen. Why it hasn't happened yet? Well, probably they're still in the scheme, but that makes a lot of sense for the Dolphins to, for me, the Dolphin defense will emerge. They're gonna probably, like we said before, they're gonna be huge for the morale of the team. They're probably gonna win some games all by themselves. If the Dolphins defense will play at the caliber they played the Chiefs game, which I watched again, had the chance to watch more detail, and I was really proud of the way they handled. They put some key stuff. They gave the offense a chance to win the game. The Dolphins even have played that in the Bills game and the Eagles game. They probably could have won one of those games. So we'll see what happens. So next on the word, what's the word? H-Chan will come back and blank. How are you, Steve? H-Chan will come back and?
I'm going to defer here. Let's go, Eddie. What do you got, man?
I think he'll come back in 2 weeks, and I don't think it's going to be like it was at the beginning of the year, because I think people will have a plan for him. But I still think he's going to average over 6 yards a carry.
How about you, Matt?
Mike
H-Chan
Tyson
will come back and blank.
Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Yes.
They can have a plan. H-Chan's going to run. He's going to run like the wind, and I think he's going to be back this week. I kind of like the idea of him taking this weekend off, but I don't know what his condition is. Those guys do, and if he's ready to go, turn him loose. Look at what he and Mostert did, and remember. I want you to remember the shock and awe that we had when we saw him ripping off. He was averaging over 12 yards a carry before he went out. Mm-hmm. And that's unheard of. This is big boy stuff right here. This isn't ACC football. This is the league, man. And that kid was just ripping people off for 12, 16, 21 yards a shot. I hope he plays this weekend. I really do, because he excites me as a player. H-Chan's going to be a handful. That's my word, handful.
How are you, Steve? H-Chan will come back and blank.
H-Chan's going to come back. He's going to eclipse 1,000 yards on the season, and he's going to finish second in Rookie of the Year voting, second only to C.J. Stroud. But I agree with Matt, more so with Eddie here, that it really wouldn't hurt for him to sit another week, just get a little bit more healthy. I don't want to downplay any teams. Every team can play tough, but think it'd be great to see him come out totally 100% fresh against the Black Friday opponent. I'll respect you here, Matt.
Thanks.
But 1,000 yards, second in Rookie of the Year voting.
I just can't have another week of Ahmed, running and sinking like a stone, man. I just can't. You put Jack Wilson in if you say each hand is not playing. I just can't handle this anymore. I don't know what's going on over there with that dead chart. So okay, the last one was FINS TV. What's the word for the week? By season end, Tua will blank. Who wants to go first?
Tua will be most valuable player.
I like it. How are you, Eddie?
That's a tough one. He'll get Miami their first playoff win in 23 years.
How about you, Steve?
Fair enough. 2023 season's end, regular season's end. Your man Tua Tagovailoa will eclipse the franchise record for yardage over Dan Marino.
In 16 games.
That's good.
Well, fine. What do you want? How about he eclipse it by about 289 yards?
No, my point is
he's going to do it anyway.
I don't want there to be an asterisk on it.
Oh, okay. So smoke it. Just absolutely smoke it.
Yeah, absolutely. Marino is the man in my life for life, right? And I think he probably is for most of us. I have no problem with Tua smoking the record, and I would really love to see him do it in 16 games versus 17. That way there's no buts. Since there's no buts Tuesday, let's let him smoke it in 16 games.
There you go.
Well, go ahead, Eddie.
Now, are we talking about smoking the record like Ricky Williams, or just blowing away the?
I don't give a damn what he does after he does it.
Hopefully, after the Super Bowl, mine's gonna be by season 7. Tua will be healthy and playing the playoffs on last year.
Yeah.
So next we're gonna see an old friend. We're gonna see next week the Raiders.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Well, the Raiders are. The coach got fired. They're playing really well. They upset the Jets. Everybody thought the Jets were going to win the division. If you ask the guys at ESPN, and the Jets are so much better, and Aaron Rodgers is coming back for the second game against the Dolphins because he got some, miraculous surgery and, all that crap. Well, like that, let's forget about the Jets for now. The Raiders are playing so much better. They have some talent on defense. They have some talent on offense. For some reason, they could not put it together. Probably because their head coach is just not good. So next we're gonna play the Raiders. I want to start with Steve on the thoughts about this game of the Raiders. Yeah, there's no trap games this part of the season. We're well aware of anyone can beat anyone by now.
I said it earlier that it's a shame that Josh McDaniels still isn't the coach. And this it touches on our previous conversations tonight where teams that gel and have fun together and play for each other they perform better. But winning cures everything. Winning cures a lot of that stuff. And frankly, the Raiders just were playing like an absolutely miserable team. and they fire that coach, and they say there's that bounce that happens when a new coach takes over. First of all, there's some uncertainties. You don't know what type of games are going to be played. You know, we saw it with Campbell. Yeah, Dan Campbell. And, you know, every other time that we've fired one of our coaches midseason, we see the team rally around and they have more fun. So we see that. In terms of the Raiders,
Dan
I
Campbell,
think
Jim Bates, they happen every single
take
time.
your pick. I think that their offense, Jacobs, you can't take him for granted. I think he's a hard runner. Devontae Adams, he is one of the top wide receivers in the league, and I think he's finally getting some opportunities, and he's not as disgruntled as he was before.
Looks motivated.
Defense, the Raiders' defense, in my opinion, is more legit than their ranking shows. I think their passing defense is one of the top in the league, giving up a little bit under 200 yards per game. Rushing defense, bottom though, so that evens out. I think it's a great opportunity, whether it's Jeff Wilson or Ahmed that decides to be inactive, and it's Achane that's active this week. Don't shake your head at me, Matt. I didn't even finish my sentence. And you have a backfield of Mostert and Achane to anchor it and really just leverage what we have there. I'm worried about Max Crosby. Max Crosby is an absolute stud superstar. And whether or not he wanted to come to Miami, thank you, Brian Flores, or not, he has proven himself year after year to be one of the top defensive players in the league. And I think he's probably up in the running right now for Defensive Player of the Year, and he's going to prove it. So I think we have our work cut out for us here. And again, I'm just looking forward to seeing some Dolphins play on Sunday.
Like we said before, we cannot trail this team. We cannot go again 14 or 7, and we need to go ahead, make a statement, win the game, and just win, baby. How about you, Matt? What are your thoughts about the Raiders game this week?
Thank you for having that intro on this, the NFL Films intro. For those
that voice is so good.
It is. And for those watching who don't really know or aren't familiar with that, go Google search it, do some research, do some history learning on what NFL Films was. John Facenda is the voice there. It's art is what it is. It's really and truly art. And it's what we depended on. ESPN didn't exist back then. So we got to see the NFL Films presentation of whatever the game of the week was or the team that they were focusing on. And believe it or not, the Raiders, for anybody who doesn't know, the Raiders are one of those teams that really is a tentpole team for the NFL when they came over from the AFL. So I'm going to wrap up by saying thank you for sharing that. It was really cool to see that and to hear the music and hear the narration. Having said all that, that was back in the 70s. This is 2023. And these Raiders are almost dead last in every defensive category, unless they have 11 Max Crosbys all across the field on Sunday. I'm not sure that they even have a chance in this, to be honest.
How about you, Eddie? What are your thoughts about the game this Sunday against the Raiders?
They have to control Crosby. He can absolutely wreck a game. And their middle linebackers really playing well. Spillane, I believe his name is. Up the middle, they're pretty strong up the middle with Jenkins, who we should have re-signed. I always loved John Jenkins. He's a stud up there, and he's a big man, and he was hard to move.
Dependable every single game. Yeah, he got his snap and he did the job.
Yep, he was very good. Offense, of course, you got to contain Jacobs and Adams. Jacobs is the kind of running back that'll give us problems because he can run and he can catch out of the backfield. And backs that catch out of the backfield against us always give us problems. But I think we could control that, get ahead of them, make them pass all the time. I don't see that rookie quarterback leading them to a victory if we get ahead. That's my thoughts on this game.
Any last thoughts, Steve? I see you looking for something.
I don't like to go on to type on the computer, so I just like to look up as you guys are bringing up things to mind here. So yeah, their offense, frankly, is putrid. There's really no excuse for us to go down 2 scores against them like we did against a couple of the weaker teams before we turned on the gas. And I really, any quarterback, it doesn't matter who it is, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, Patrick Mahomes, you rattle those quarterbacks and they crumble. They turn into Zach Wilson back there, or Mac Jones. So I really want to see them make that rookie's life hell and just get the team amped up. Don't have that post bye week slump, that mentality. Come out, prove that we belong, make a statement, get us that 7th win this season, and just move forward on towards another really, really tough defense we're going to be facing.
Absolutely. Man, already any last thoughts? Nothing less to be said. Eddie.
How did we get the Raiders to actually come to Miami? Because we went to either LA or Oakland or Las Vegas for the past 20 years, it seems like.
Last time we played the Raiders, that was the
London game.
Oh,
that's why it didn't win. It was a London
okay.
game.
But we played the Raiders here in Miami.
2014.
No, more recently because I was at the game. That's the Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson high five down the left side.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I'm struggling right now to remember the year, but
2018.
It might. Well, 19's
like
19's the whatever you want to call it, tank for Tua season. So it might have been 18.
Okay. Well, so next we're gonna go to the big finish and the top 5 power rankings. Well, I had to write down my power rankings. It's just a mess. This week, every single team who was a contender or supposed contender, not a fraud like we as Dolphins, lost. The Ravens lost, the Bills lost, the Bengals lost. It was just beautiful. So let me see where I wrote down because I don't want to get my papers confused. I had the Chiefs at number 1, the Eagles at number 2, the 49ers at 3, Lions 4th, and Cowboys at number 5. Just one AFC team in my top 5 just because. How about you, Steve?
I have Philly, Kansas City, San Francisco. They got Deebo Samuel back, and it was just an entirely different team. It's pretty incredible to see how one player can change a team around that much. But then I think it's a toss-up. You have Detroit, Cincinnati, Baltimore. I want to say there's a lot of parity at that 5-5 level right now, Buffalo. But there's my butt for the day. In the top 5, I just think that 4-5 slot, you could just have a bunch of teams on any given Sunday.
Absolutely. Matt, do you have any numbers, top 5 power rankings for the week?
Yeah, I'll continue my trend of keeping the Dolphins at 5. They had a loss recently, and they were in it, but they did have a loss. So I'm going to go Dolphins at 5. What is going on with Detroit? Like they've been hanging around long enough to make you pay attention, right? And I've been a Dan Campbell fan ever since he was here. I just like his way. I like his style. So I'm going to go Detroit at 4. And I think I'm going to put Philly at 3, the Chiefs at 2. And I honestly think that the 49ers should probably, if they stay healthy, stay at number 1 until the end of the season. They got Deebo back. That's a ball club right there. So that's my top 5.
How about you, Eddie? Give me what I want. What are your top 5 power? Give me what I want. Come on, Eddie. Give it to me. Give me what I want.
Now's your chance, Eddie. I know you want to
go for
say
it. I know you want to say it.
First off, you guys are giving the 49ers way too much credit. it could have been me in there instead of Debo Samuel, and I would have had 100 yards against that fraud of a team north of me, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow. Pete Prisco's Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow.
That's a fraud. I wish they'd move to England and get off my TV. But anyways, I'm going Kansas City 1, Philadelphia 2, Detroit 3. 4 and 5 could be anybody else in the league. I really don't know.
Oh, come on.
What are you guys waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Say Cleveland Browns, baby. Just give me your Cleveland Browns number 5, baby.
Did you actually watch that game?
Yes, I watched that game. Yes, I did.
Their defense is legit. That quarterback, he needs to go back to massage therapy because he sucks.
I heard he got an ankle injury now. He's in a boot.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That was a really.
I still think the Ravens are. I still think the Ravens are a good team, so I'll put them either 4 or 5, and Miami. You could swap anybody in and out right now at the end of that list.
Oh, that's nice. Before we go, let's go a little bit. Please go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think you're too crazy about Detroit there. I don't pay enough attention to them. I mean, they're NFC North, so I don't think we get enough exposure really to who they are. Looking at their remaining schedule, Bears, Packers, Saints, Bears, Broncos, Vikings. I've heard some, it's recency bias. The flavor of the week conversations and everything. I could see them easily finishing with a top 3 seed in the NFC, if not top 2, depending on how the rest of it plays out. So,
what's really impressive is Dobbs on Minnesota. What he's done in 2 weeks. That's pretty impressive to me to get traded from Arizona and get them 2 wins after Kirk Cousins. That's just a good story. I'm not ranking him up there, but I just wanted to say that. I thought that was awesome.
I heard someone say they have a really good defensive coordinator.
They do. They do. He's the best.
Before we go, I think we have a couple of minutes before we go. How about those Bills? They touched so much Mac, and they the Dolphins had not beaten anyone. They beat by 70, all that crap, and they at home against the Broncos they laid an egg. So they fire our favorite offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. I'm pretty sure the equipment manager of the Bills is going to be happy. No more tablets flying around the press box. That's nice for a change. But what are your thoughts about the state of the Bills right now? Steve, do you have any thoughts about the Bills right now before we go? We have a couple minutes to spare.
I'm really questioning what they saw in Ken Dorsey that they said he's not our guy. I feel like it's a scapegoat. I was talking to my wife. Hey, Sherry, thank you very much for that comment.
Hi, Sherry.
Eddie.
Really shout out to Sherry. Hi, Sherry.
Yeah, hey, Sherry. Putting Cleveland in the top 5 is a reach and then around. So that's a shout out to you, Eddie, there. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but that's an internal joke. That
Keep it
was
classy.
You go back to the archives of the season preview, the 3rd episode, when Eddie said the Cleveland Browns are number 5, we were like, Matt almost had a heart attack at the moment. So it's an internal joke.
So, but I don't know. Ken Dorsey's not the one that's on the field throwing the interceptions. He could have had his first 2 passes picked off. He Ken Dorsey's not on the field, fumbling a mesh point fumble. They have 4 turnovers. Ken Dorsey was the scapegoat. You've heard the rumbling about what's going on in there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You saw Stephon Diggs gripe and whine his way out of Minnesota, get to Buffalo. And again, winning cures everything. He's all happy when he's getting the ball and they're winning. But there's smoke, there's fire, and I really think that Trayvon Diggs' tweets over the last 24 hours is pretty telling that there is a lot of discontent in that building, and the window isn't just closing. I think it is slamming shut, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely. How about you, Matt? Let's also on our friends up north, the Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia.
Well, I just checked into Twitter, and apparently Josh Allen just threw another interception. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it couldn't happen to a better team, and it couldn't happen to a better fan base, -1. I want to show respect to our esteemed colleague. His mother is a Bills fan, and
Hi, Mom.
And hi, Mom. And speaking of hi, I think today is this episode. We've got some folks in the comments over here that I've never seen before. So I'm going to say hi to Zach Antley and Cap for life. It's good to see you guys. Lamaris, it's good to see you on here. But while you're here, if you can hear me, I want to tell you that Buffalo can go straight to hell.
It's like the best ending to Romper Room ever. You know, where they're looking through the mirror and be like, "Hi, Sherry. Hi, Lamaris. Hi, Cap for life. Bills fans go to hell." Just throw the mirror.
Let's not do that again. We cannot get one of those laughing hysterically like last week. That was just huge. Any last thoughts on our friends up north, the Buffalo Bills?
Well, season's not over, so I'm not burying them yet because I've buried New England when they were good, and then I was like, oh boy.
That's a completely different topic. The Patriots are just crumbling.
Oh no! I'm talking about before when Brady was still there, and I thought they were done, but they weren't. But what Steve said is correct. Ken Dorsey is a good offensive coordinator, and from them tweets from is it Trayvon Diggs, his brother?
Yeah.
Sounds like Stephon Diggs really liked Ken Dorsey because his career really took off when they got Ken Dorsey. I said it. I said, if they do not do well this year, that coach is going to be out the door. McDermott and his stupid, smug little smile. The good thing is now that Josh Allen can go up to the mirror and look at it, and he sees that number reversed, that's how many turnovers he has for his career, 71.
That's amazing.
That's a statistic right there. Holy cow.
You remember they used to call Tua turn the ball over?
Uh-huh.
I think Josh needs to take over that mantle.
Since we touched on the Patriots, Steve, I want to know your thoughts about the how the Patriots are doing right now. You see Mac Jones melting on the sidelines with Bill O'Brien screaming at his ear.
He was chewing his ass out.
A former 100 NFL player, Pro Bowler player, and you know I heard today that KM said that she believes that Bill Belichick could even be traded. I would not trade for Bill Belichick right now, but you know,
way too much of that praise for anybody that's up in New England is just the media in the jersey that they wear. I had it, in mind tonight when I was talking about how much pressure Tua has underperformed this year. He is under exponentially more pressure because of the jersey that he wears.
Mm-hmm.
So many players in Dallas, so many players in New England are given the benefit that they don't even earn because of just simply a jersey that they wear and they're people that forged a path for them years prior.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Jones never deserved to be in that top spot, but people just can't wait to say, hey, he's the next person that's going to be crowned, is going to lead their favorite team to the promised land. And I used to joke about this, and I preface this by saying it's not making fun of mental health, but I literally believe that there is an entire generation of New England fans who don't know what it's like to lose, and they are going to need therapy. They don't know. There are people who, you got to figure, if you were born in 1998, they were 2 years old when Tom Brady took his first snap. 1995, they were 5 years old. They don't remember those games, so they don't know what it's like to see a team lose, and they can't handle it right now. And it's becoming more and more true. It wasn't Belichick winning those games. I'm just going to leave it at that. It wasn't him. They were the benefit of a generational player who could just manage the games and not lose them and stayed healthy for a very, very long period of time.
And any thoughts on the Patriots very quickly before we go? Matt.
Oh, yeah, here. Matt. Hey, wake up.
Sorry.
It's past his bedtime. It's 9:20.
I was watching General Hospital. I'm sorry. So, about the Patriots, what can we say about the Patriots that none of us have wanted to say for the last 20 years? I said many episodes ago, many shows ago, that as much as you kind of hate to say it, but Brady should be in the Hall of Fame today. The troubles that they've gone through over the last, we'll say, just the last year, the troubles that team has gone through have really pierced the invincibility of Belichick. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but boy, is it incredible. And I look back at Phil Jackson and Pat Riley. I'm not going to take anything away from those guys, but their rosters were pretty darn good. I could win with some of those rosters. So I don't doubt anything that Steve said about an entire generation having trouble with losing. But welcome to your future, New England.
How about you, Eddie? Any last thoughts on the Patriots crumbling before our eyes?
Well, Bill Belichick, the GM, is getting Bill Belichick, the coach, fired because he does not know how to pick players. He does not know how to sign what free agents to sign. And like Matt just said, I hated Tom Brady. Then I thought it was all Belichick and the system they were in. But then he went to Tampa and he won. And look how bad Tampa doesn't look terrible, but they're still not what they were just with him. And nothing's really changed on that team. It's amazing. He's not the best coach of all time because Shula won with a bunch of different quarterbacks, including David Woodley. He made it to the Super Bowl with David freaking Woodley, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Don Strock, Dan Marino. He switched up when he needed to switch up. I mean, when nobody thought that when Marino came in, Shula was going to throw the ball the time. And he did. He threw it all the time. He knew how to adapt. Belichick, to me, doesn't know how to adapt. He's stuck in his ways. They're not going to go anywhere with him. It's only going to get worse. I believe this is his last year there. And the other thing I think Steve brought up about all these players on other teams getting all this free passes. The last couple nights, Josh Allen they made so many excuses for him last night. Was that last night? Yeah, that was last night. Then they were making excuses for the guy that wears green and the team that only has a couple letters because their fans can't spell more than that. They made excuses for him, and as soon as Tua makes a bad throw, it's he's terrible. He's terrible. He's no good. They need to get him out of there. Jacoby Brissett should start. Teddy Bridgewater should start. That's it on me.
Yeah, Matt, you brought up a great point when it made me think about it when you're talking about it. If you want to know how a lucky pick can fix somebody's career for a very long time, look no further than San Francisco. They sold the farm for a third-round pick at a quarterback and absolutely failed.
Yeah.
They lucked out with the last pick in the draft with Purdy. And that GM and head coach just locked down long-term, very high-priced extensions for one reason and one reason only, and that was the last pick of the draft. It's the only reason that Bill Belichick wasn't out of the league 10 years ago. So,
and to that point, I've got to say this because it eats away at me whenever I hear or read the Twitter experts that want to rip GMs in whatever sport and whether it's the Dolphins or whoever. Belichick never, ever takes any heat for his trade back. And then we're going to trade up for this fullback from Western Montana State College, and they gush over it.
Yeah.
Well, now the golden goose is in retirement. And where's that magic now? It seems like you're just as good as me at picking talent.
Absolutely. Food for thought. Don Shula his final season when he retired, we had some pressures. Jimmy Johnson was looking over his shoulder. Fans wanted a change. Don Shula was 9-7 and in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? And he was forced out. After that, the Dolphins were never the same. And today, Don Shula should be smiling, looking at Bill Belichick. And today is the 30-year anniversary of he breaking George Halas's record for all-time wins. So, yeah, we always pay homage.
Love you, Don.
We always pay homage to the greatest coach in NFL history. Nobody's going to change your mind. Either in the intro or when we leave, you're going to see Don Shula somewhere in the corner of the show. We love the coach. He's going to be forever the greatest coach of all time in FINS TV. So please, if you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be here for another edition of FINS TV next week. It was a slow week. It was a bye week, so we're glad we had so much to talk about. We had so much fun. So until next week, don't forget that when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl. Fins up.
Fins up, guys. Have a great week.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, 'cause we're the Miami Dolphins.